St. Andrews South Police Division declared latest state of public emergency. Prime Minister attends CARICOM 40. And Jamaica signs MOU with CARICOM Secretariat. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan.
After careful consideration and review of the current crime situation, His Excellency the Governor General has declared a state of public emergency for the Police Division of St. Andrews South.
That was Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Sunday announcing the latest section of the island to be placed under the enhanced security measure. Areas covered under the operation include Duhaney Park, Uenden, Ferry, Greenwich Town, Seaview Gardens, Waterhouse, Olympic Gardens and Maxfield Park. Police statistics suggest that since the start of 2019, the division has recorded 94 murders and 98 shootings, the highest among police divisions on the island. That's also 33% more than the 72 murders recorded in the Clarendon Police Division, which has the second highest number of murders.
Violence is at epidemic proportions in Jamaica. It ought to be treated in the same way as we would treat any other epidemic, which is to put in place special measures to arrest it. The main cause of violent death in Jamaica would be the category, or would be dons, gangs, and guns, or deaths related to criminal activities.
Up to Monday morning, officers from the K9 Division, with help from a firearm detection dog named Trigger, had recovered an assault rifle in St. Andrews South. Persons are being encouraged to share information with the security forces at 311 or 876-837-8888. Prime Minister Andrew Holness spent most of last week in St. Lucia for the 40th regular meeting of the heads of government of the Caribbean community. During the July 3-5 meeting, CARICOM leaders discussed several issues, including funding the single market and economy, regional security, Venezuela, blacklisting, small island developing states, and disaster resilience building. Mr. Holness also held bilateral talks with the Prime Minister of Norway, Erna Solberg. The two spoke of their respective economies, tourism, and institutional reform. On the margins of CARICOM 40, Jamaica signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the CARICOM Secretariat. The agreement covers the provision of support for operationalizing and institutionalizing Phase 2 of the CARICOM Results-Based Management RBM system. It's expected that the CARICOM RBM will develop a more results-oriented culture within the CARICOM community. The CARICOM RBM will be conducted through a series of sensitization seminars, assistance to develop an information technology platform, and information from Jamaica on implementing best practices. This will result in the development of a CARICOM RBM policy. And while in St. Lucia, Mr. Holness held bilateral talks with United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The Prime Minister used Thursday's meeting to update the UN Secretary General on actions Jamaica has taken under the UN's Climate Action Initiative. As co-chair of the initiative, Mr. Holness recommitted Jamaica to strategically raising awareness on climate resilience and funding. He also pledged to help raise $100 billion for global climate action and increase private sector involvement in climate-smart programs. Prime Minister Andrew Holness used his last day in St. Lucia to meet with members of the Jamaican diaspora on that island. He spoke with them on a plethora of issues, including the economy, labour, investment, tourism, crime, and the brain drain.
So this government is about creating opportunities at home to bring back the brain power of the country.
Before his attendance at CARICOM 40, Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcomed reggae icon Toots Hibbert to his office on Tuesday. The two spoke of the evolution and future of reggae music, after which Mr. Holness was presented with two of Hibbert's albums. Tuesday also saw Mr. Holness having discussions with representatives from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, including Minister Darrell Vaz. The group spoke about developments in Discovery Bay and its environs. On Sunday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness expressed great sadness upon learning of the passing of Ambassador Eleanor Felix. Ambassador Felix was the former Chief of State Protocol in the Office of the Prime Minister and former ambassador to Cuba. The late ambassador was also former director of protocol at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Mr. Holness recalled Ambassador Felix as a woman who inspired with her strength and outlook on life. The Prime Minister said Jamaica would miss Ambassador Felix, who he described as a civil servant of the highest order, who had a professional, warm and engaging spirit. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.